President Trump is taking advantage of the DNC fuckery yet again. This is something that he was able to do in 2016. He exploited it, and now he's doing it again in 2020. And you can't really be mad at him because it is right there in front of our faces, and he's just reminding everybody of it. So here's what he tweeted. It is happening again to Crazy Bernie, just like last time, only far more obvious. They are taking the Democrat nomination away from him, and there's very little he can do. A rigged system. Now, there's no way that Bernie Sanders, hears this and he's like, oh, cool. He hears this and he wants to tell Trump, hey, www.shuddy.com. But what Trump is saying there is somewhat true. They are basically doing everything in their power, everything that they can do to try to take the nomination from him. And, hey, maybe they're somewhat limited in what they're able to do. Okay, but they did enough to really destroy the Iowa caucus. The results are still not accurate and still don't reflect what we know to be the case, which is Bernie Sanders winning not just in popular vote, but also in state delegate elects. So they did that. Who knows what, if anything, went on in New Hampshire. But what we do know is this last-minute attempt to try to get for Tom Perez to get Mike Bloomberg in the debates. What do you think that is? That's a stop Bernie at all costs move. That's a, oh my God, Biden is collapsing, Mayor Pete and Klobuchar are not strong enough. Maybe we could do a last-ditch effort to try to get Mike Bloomberg in there. So, listen, people can be mad at Trump all they want and say, like, oh my God, you're taking advantage of this. Of course he is. Yes, he's taking advantage, without a doubt, of the current state of affairs in the Democratic Party. But you should really be blaming the DNC. You should really be blaming the Democratic Party for making their fuckery so damn obvious that even a moron like Trump can see it and then take political advantage of it. Now, do I think that Bernie voters are gonna, I'll flip to Trump in a general election? The overwhelming majority of them will say, hell no. But could Trump get, them to stay home on election day? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, if you have Mike Bloomberg as the nominee, are you kidding me? That guy in no way is going to get the turnout that's necessary to defeat Trump. And you can't blame the people. You would have to blame Mike Bloomberg. And for Trump to take a clever political approach here, a wink and a nod to the left to say, I see what they're doing to your boy, dog. Well, I can't say I'm surprised, and I can't say it'll be ineffective. So, careful, the chickens are coming home to roost. The Democratic establishment, if the DNC, if you make your bed, you're going to have to sleep in it. So, my advice to you is, hands off the primary, no more fucking around, and let the actual results come through. And all the evidence at this point, shows that Bernie is by far and away the front runner. But what'll be the clearest example ever, which would absolutely hand the election over to Trump, is if Bernie Sanders wins most of the votes, wins more votes than any other candidate, but he doesn't have over 50%, because then it's not decided on the first ballot, it goes to the second ballot, and it would be very likely that they try to steal it from him. They try to give it to somebody else. And I already said this a bunch of times on air, but I'll say it again. Man, in a situation like that, you try to take it from them in that situation, there will be millions of people marching on the DNC. And it'll get dicey. I'm a deep believer in nonviolent, peaceful resistance. But I can't tell you that everybody who's going to be marching on the DNC at that time, if they're trying to screw Bernie, I can't promise you that nobody's going to get violent to one extent or another, might do some property damage, might maybe to some extent or another riot. I mean, that might happen. I can't control everybody, a million people who would show up in such a situation. And guess what? You would have nobody to blame but yourselves if things got out of hand. Because that wouldn't happen if you don't screw him. So here's my advice. Don't screw him. Don't hand Trump a giant propaganda victory. Don't do that. Don't let him take advantage of it, And don't make his criticisms even more accurate by continuing to do the thing he's saying you're doing. Don't do it. You'll hand the election to Trump and you will destroy the Democratic Party for the foreseeable future. Don't say we didn't warn you. I'm warning you right now.